Last year we saw Nosferatu by Robert Eggers, which was sexy Dracula, but he looked like a scary monster man. And this year we saw notorious French pedophile and evader of justice Luc Besson's take on Dracula, just called Dracula.
What's with him? He probably hanging out with Woody Allen and fucking Roman Polanski. Just
I got a control F through the Epstein files. Luc Besson.
Well, we know Brett Ratner was there.
He also directed
and Woody Allen.
He also directed Valerian and the Thousand Planets or whatever the shit.
Speaking of, I thought the star of this movie was Dane DeHaan, and it was not. It was this guy just has a muse. He's probably like, Dane, what are you doing? Didn't realize that Dane DeHaan is deceased, or what happened to him? He hasn't been in anything in a while. Remember when they somehow thought fucking Dane DeHaan was... They thought Dane DeHaan was going to be a...
Well, he also likes his...
He wasn't a good actor, and he also looked weird.
Luc Besson also likes his big eyebrow bitches, because...
Yeah.
This movie has a big eyebrow bitch. Valerian had that big eyebrow bitch.
Well, I couldn't imagine his 15-year-old wife would know how to do makeup well enough to expand.
Well, he divorced her and married a 19-year-old after that.
Beautiful.
So, anyway. Also, that's all alleged or something. In case Luc Benson...
Luc Benson would have to fly back to America and go to federal fucking prison to sue us, so he can go ahead and try.
I don't think he would be tried in America, because from what I read, everyone who sued him is French. He just got away with it.
Where does he live now?
France, where he was always from.
Oh,
that's why he didn't evade any justice. All his cases just got dropped.
Well, it's France.
And it's just legal to marry 15-year-olds there, so...
Well, you know what? There you go. He got away with it.
He did it. Anyway, what's the plot of Dracula?
Dracula's a movie about love. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Just like Luc Benson loves kids. It's not funny, dude.
No,
Victims
it's
and
very
whatever.
serious, you know.
Jeffrey Epstein files.
Natalie Portman was in this movie.
Leon the Professional. Yeah, Luc Benson. And it's kind of weird because he's got a couple of movies that people sort of like, and this movie seemed pretty decisive, even beyond. Yeah, divisive.
Pretty different than decisive.
I decisively didn't like it that much.
But what's the plot?
Plot. Long ago, there was a man named Count Dracula, and he wore a dragon mask, and he was a gladiator on a crusade from God to kill Muslims. That's the actual plot. I'm not interjecting. He literally says that.
Yeah.
So he's on the crusade, and his wife. So he's on this swampy battlefield that he started on fire, and he's victorious. He's killed them all, and he's like, hell yeah! And then the scout ran back and was like, look, the princess is being tracked by these like 5 marauders of some kind. Vague Nation marauders. I don't believe they're the Muslims that were being attacked. They didn't appear to be when we saw them.
I liked the racial diversity in the Muslims, because the Muslim leader was like a white guy with a Muslim beard, and then there was a fat black man behind him.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that proves... Maybe that proves something.
I don't think it proves anything. I just thought it was funny.
Anyhow, the scout came back from the wintry climate. Like Paul Revere crossed the continent to come up to him and say, look, your wife's getting tracked, you better get out there. So then Dracula doubles back, and it goes from the dead of night to morning. Hello? And these guys are still dead on her heels, and for some reason they're in a field full of bear traps. So finally she's about to get attacked as these guys slowly come near them trying to clear the bear traps. And then Dracula starts killing them all because he somehow caught up. And then there was one last guy who was about to kill his wife, and what he did was he in his arrogance, decided to swag on the guy, and it was the biggest mistake of his life because he did a cunty little twirl with the sword and then chucked it like a spear. But he overshot it and he hit his wife and killed her. So then he gets pissed and he kills the Pope or something, and then this makes him, he starts just bitching at God about it, and then God makes him
fuck love like XXX and Tentacion.
Yeah, he's a fuck
then
love.
He becomes a scary monster man.
He starts doing that thing, you know. He starts snorting Xanax pills. No, but he becomes an immortal vampire, really. So 400 years later, he's on a love quest because for some reason he's under the impression that his wife is going to come back to life.
He's right.
He's right, but for some reason he's under that impression. So he kind of just doesn't do anything. He's like, I got kind of bored of searching, but I know she'll show up to me. So I've made a bunch of vampire scouts that are going to scout around for me. And anyways, his wife did come back to life, and
he put up his boyfriend-free girl signs.
Yeah, like Chris Jam.
Actually, he didn't care if she had a boyfriend, so I guess it just...
He didn't care at all. He said this specific woman reincarnated from 400 years ago. Hopefully I didn't miss her. But anyways, so this guy comes to his house. This is the part of Dracula that every movie adapts, no matter what. When the lawyer comes to his house and he says, I'm a young lawyer, man. But then he kind of changes it up because he starts telling they become friends. He starts telling the guy his origin story. So instead of hypnotizing him and sending him back on the boat to like screw around, he becomes friends with him and tells him about how he just wanted to fucking kill himself for like 100 years, and then he's like, but then the next 200 years I was searching for my love. And since then, I've just been dicking around in the castle with my weird CGI gargoyles.
Part of his origin story is that he tells the guy how he made a magical sex perfume and
the magical sex perfume.
He traveled the world having magical sex with everyone until he went to France, and he was so disgusted by French people that he started killing them.
Well, he did make the magical sex perfume, so he started going country to country. He's like, I went to India, and I studied under the Dalai Lama to learn how to make the magical sex perfume. So,
the magical rape perfume. You think
that's
Luke
what it really is. He does. He probably has it in real life, which is why he wrote. Actually, for him, it's just Ralph Lauren he bought from JCPenney, but for Dracula, he had to train with the Dalai Lama to make his rape perfume.
French people are so disgusting that he got fed up with humanity and started killing them all.
So then the guy's like, you know what, I have a girlfriend, so will you not kill me? And then he says, in no uncertain terms, basically, if she's hot, I won't kill you. So then he peeps at the locket, and he's like, oh my god, this is my ex-wife. So then he has to travel to France.
Also,
okay, so meanwhile, the
Dracula has an army of little gargoyle minions who say banana and have glasses.
They do. But, okay, so the gargoyles, so he keeps them alive. He's like, thank you for showing me that my love is alive, and you're my romantic rival, but I'm gonna, in no uncertain terms, I'm gonna lock you up here with the gargoyles and cuck you, is what he says. Then he dives out the window and he flies out to Paris or something, and then he starts taking her on a date, and at first she's really opposed to him. But then meanwhile, her husband dives out of a 50-story window and lands in a foot of soft snow, so he survives.
Yeah, that's the same soft snow that Dracula kept landing on. He was probably just bad at killing himself because he kept landing in the soft snow.
But for some reason, somehow the character makes it back to Paris in hours, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, originally, in this story, Dracula, he had to take, a boat, and it was, days. In the Nosferatu movie, they're he's gonna be gone for, 6 months. He had to take the boat out and all that. But here he just hikes it back in the cold with nothing, and he probably broke some bones as he
comes back to Dracula and his wife having a fun carnival date, and then getting it on.
Yeah, they're having a fun carnival date, and then she's like, "I don't love you," and then she's like, "You know what? Fuck it."
And her BPD bestie is running around.
Her BPD bestie is the Harley Quinn from Batman. I haven't even mentioned Christoph Waltz's subplot. So there's a little boy that works as a nurse practitioner, and then there's a doctor who says, "I don't believe in vampires." Christoph Waltz is an alcoholic priest who says, "I believe in vampires because I've been hunting them for 400 years because I'm Van Helsing or whatever." And then he's like, "Well, that's fucking great." And then they have Harley Quinn in Arkham Asylum, and Harley Quinn, see. What doesn't connect with me is Harley Quinn found the wife and was like, "This is great." But then she was somehow captured alive. The only vampire to ever be captured alive.
She's also the worst wing woman of all time, because every time Dracula and Mina start kissing, she comes up and she's like, "I want to go get some dick right now, bitch." And they run off.
She's basically a woman.
Yeah.
She is a
woman.
She's a woman. She was living life, laughing, loving. But anyways, so she found Mina, and I don't know if she somehow convinced Mina's husband to go to Dracula, or if that was just by sheer fucking coincidence. But she befriended Mina, and she's a vampire. That's basically pointless, because she gets decapitated and then staked.
Yeah.
But she's like Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad and has a bunch of like really cringe-inducing moments.
Yeah.
So anyways, then Dracula comes back and the girlfriend chooses Dracula, and the boyfriend and the fiance is like, "What the fuck? This is so fucked up." So then they get a posse together, and then an epic war happens where like 500 people are trying to kill the CGI gargoyles at Dracula's castle so they can get to Dracula. And Dracula basically locks himself in a room to have a dramatic conversation, but between and in each room, he has to kill like 45 soldiers beforehand.
Yeah.
At one point, Christoph Waltz walks to the window and just starts staring through the stained glass window as Dracula's just killing like 100 fucking guys. And then he's like, "Dude, you should just let me kill you." And then he's like, "Yeah, that's fine, but I just have to talk to Mina first." And he's like, "That's acceptable." And then Dracula has like another 20-minute fight scene on the way over where he kills like 300 more guys for just fucking no reason. And then he goes in there and Mina's like, "I'm just so fucking bricked for you." And then he's like, "Anyways, I'm about to commit suicide."
Yeah, Christoph Waltz convinces him real easy. Christoph Waltz shows up at his house and he's like, "Wouldn't God want you to die?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're fucking right,
You're fucking right, dude.
You're
God.
so fucking right."
And like half this movie is just him being like, "There's no such thing as God."
Fuck.
Bless the... There's one
Fuck
part
love.
for no reason
God.
where he goes to a church. I mean, it's... So basically... Dracula has a problem where he's really old and ugly, so he has to get hot
And he
again
has
so he
Princess
can see his
Leia hair.
girlfriend. He has Princess Leia hair, so he shaves the Princess Leia hair and he goes to a church pretending to be a sickly old man. Then he says, "Actually, I'm Dracula, bitch," and then they make a dog pile around him and he starts sucking their blood, but...
Yeah, he uses the rape perfume to...
Yeah, the rape perfume is what causes them to be attracted to him, so that he can suck that, so that they are submitting to having their blood sucked.
So Ralph, he can stop looking like a...
Ralph Lauren, Dalai Lama.
Cum suck.
He was looking at experts from Ralph Lauren to Dalai Lama to create this perfume, so obviously it's very strong. So Christoph Waltz kills him, and then he turns to dust, and then the husband walks in and realizes that she looks really sad that he went to dust, so then the husband gets sad and she shoots him a look like it was all your fault anyways. Yeah. So then she kind of just... Well, there's one more shot of the movie, and it's the gargoyles turn to these like sickly orphans that look like they just haven't eaten in months, and they're like pale and just in loincloths. For some reason,
they start wandering out into the snow.
They were the gargoyles for 400 years, so presumably they just have no family to return to, no friends, and they're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in the snow. And I mean, these kids are 5, 6 years old. And the army just doesn't bother trying to like figure something out to do
Maybe
with these
Mina's
kids.
gonna
They're just
adopt
like
all the weird little
barefoot.
orphans or something. I don't know.
Do you think she inherited Dracula's castle and fortune? And also,
I
I feel like
so.
the restoration on the castle, especially in like 1930 or whenever this movie takes place, is gonna take a while. I mean,
They blew
that
holes
thing
in it.
into fucking Swiss
Yeah.
cheese. They were just putting it under constant cannon barrage. So, anyways, that's the plot of the movie. I went through the play-by-play, so I didn't miss anything, because this movie is a sight to behold. Not a movie that I would recommend you behold, but it's technically a sight to behold. So, Aiden, what did you think of this movie?
I liked Dracula a lot.
What was your favorite part? The little boys in the loincloth?
I think the funniest part of the movie, and the part that got me hooked, is when Dracula makes his rape perfume and then makes all the ladies start dancing. And then he meets the French people and they're all like shoving slop in their mouths and fucking. And he's like, Jesus Christ, the French are so disgusting, and starts shredding them. I think at that point the movie kind of won me over. Also, I don't know. I mean, the movie's fucking stupid. It's probably the stupidest adaptation of Dracula to ever exist, quite probably.
There's a lot of really. I've seen stupider ones, but it's very dumb.
It's very dumb. And yet, it's, may I say, charmingly earnest about how stupid it is. It's fascinatingly strange and also not very good in a lot of ways. It's a gigantic mess. Christoph Waltz is very bad. Danny Elfman, also alleged sex offender, really cooked on the score. The movie bounces between hideously ugly, looking like a Percy Jackson movie, and interesting looking. Not
Right.
always technically competent, but
Rarely technically competent.
it's interesting looking. There's a lot of weird stuff that I liked. I think the guy who plays Dracula, who played Banshee in X-Men First Class, is surprisingly good and probably the only member of the cast that is. Especially when he's just hanging out with Jonathan and they're becoming buddies and they're just chilling and talking about bitches and magic rape perfume. There's an odd...
Do you think the director made this movie because he's like, I'm kind of like Dracula? And like Dracula, consent is optional for me.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Jonathan and Dracula's weird friendship was an angle that is interesting and fun, and I think the guy who played Dracula kind of played the sadness of Dracula well when he was in the old person makeup, but then when he wasn't, he was like ridiculously over the top, but everything in this movie's ridiculously over the top. It does have some weird quirks. Christoph Waltz keeps doing like fucking Marvel quips. Christoph Waltz especially, but everyone kind of does. Everyone kind of throws in some Marvel quips.
There's some like Marvel reaction shots too. Like the fiance cuts the BTB, the fucking BPD friend's head off, and he like does a reaction shot like a that just happened type of thing.
I think maybe the worst.
Also, no one talks like it's like this is 1880, and they're like, that's really sussy baka, cuz. You know?
I
They
think
talk like it's fucking 2025.
one of the
I thought it was a modern adaptation until I saw that somebody had an old tie.
one of the most bizarre parts is when Dracula, when they're sieging his castle, he runs up the stairs and he bumps into his gargoyle minions and he's like, I'm gonna need you to hold them off for a minute. Then it starts another action scene.
Well, then it cuts on over to him. Yeah, for some reason, at that point in the movie, the gargoyles had been fighting the guys, but apparently they were just taking a breather, so all the gargoyles collectively went to the staircase to just sit there.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they could have the
Dracula's
Marvel
like-
scene.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. I had fun with it, sometimes ironically and sometimes not. I don't know. I found it, despite being kind of bad in almost every way, but beyond the music, that something about it struck a chord with me. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it because it just appealed
Doesn't
to
make
me.
sense.
It's cringe kino. I don't know what to
It's
say.
not.
It is.
There's a big gap between this and cringe kino.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It walks the line. It
No,
falls
doesn't
on
walk
both
any
sides.
fucking
But
line.
oopie. Anyway, Connor, what'd you think of Dracula?
I thought it sucked. I thought it sucked Major Dong. I don't know if Major Dong is a phrase I would typically use, but nobody in this movie is good at acting. The lead is comparatively good, but it's almost shocking. Like Christoph Waltz is terrible. I
Yeah,
love
no, he's
Christoph
fucking
Waltz and
awful in this
everything.
movie.
I've never seen something I haven't liked in him. And for some reason, the script they wrote him was like, we need Christoph Waltz, because for some reason we just wrote his character from Django Unchained, but we added That Just Happened Marvel clips, and somehow like Christoph Waltz like bought into the concept. The movie is mostly technically competent. Some of the CGI looks, or some of the cinematography looks decent. CGI looks like shit.
Yeah, the CGI does look like shit.
The movie is not of its time. If I was to watch this movie blind and not know like Christoph Waltz and stuff, like totally blind, I would think this movie came out somewhere in the early 2000s to 2013. Like it's John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Percy Jackson 2.
Lone Ranger,
The Maze Runner. Allegiance Part 2.
Yeah, I
3,
think you're going a
but
little
they never
too
made
much
Part
into
3.
the young adult books. I'm thinking like, what I'm thinking here, like, Cowboys versus Aliens, and like the schlocky.
The Jon Favreau classic.
Like I even like feel like in that movie, this movie doesn't have action and it's not anything like this, but Premium Rush vibes, Tron Legacy.
You're not wrong.
it reeks like summer of 2011 for some reason.
I mean, you're not
It
wrong.
reeks summer. Green Lantern. But then also some like Twilight in there, or like maybe not Twilight, but you know how like after Twilight they made like Beastly Affection and all of those movies. Well, it's like mostly not even vampire. It'd be like, well, they're like Twilight, but with Frankenstein, and people were paying like millions of dollars. to have these movies.
Frankenstein.
Well, I Frankenstein's a good example, but there's also the one with another X-Men First Class alum, Nicholas Hoult. Warm Bodies is another example. Yeah, everybody in this movie's fucking terrible. It kind of also gives like Phantom of the Opera, Joel Schumacher. But part of what carries that movie isn't the acting or the plot, but they have songs that are marketable, especially towards theater people. And I'm like, damn, I bet you if they threw some musical numbers in this shit, it could have been the next Wicked. But since they didn't, it just awkwardly feels like a really stilted movie. I think there are some cool, like, shots. Like, at one point he's, like, depressed and lays on his wife's grave as he gets covered in, like, a snow blizzard. It's pretty fun. But mostly it's bad. Like, I walked you through the story, which I think explained a lot of my issues, because it just makes no fucking sense half the time. They had, like, no sort of continuity. The edit's really awkward. I would say, sitting in the theater, I think I was sitting there for 400 years, man. I felt like I was turned immortal and I could just never fucking die because it wouldn't end. This movie was 2 hours and 10 minutes long, which is far too long. But even so, it felt minimum 3 hours. It was very boring, but also like enthralling. And there were moments where you're like, they kind of did that Great Gatsby thing where it was like vaguely like hip hop infused Victorian music while they're doing, or maybe pop disco infused Victorian music while the women are dancing, and everything looked really cheesy. I liked the old man Dracula makeup. That was fun.
Yeah.
The first battle was ridiculous. And honestly, all of the battles felt very like 2003 PG-13 action movie, like Pirates of the Caribbean ripoff type action. Like for a while, everyone was doing that kind of like swashbuckling.
Yeah, it's like Harley Quinn getting beheaded.
Random fucking just shots of people going whoosh, 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 and then like guy falls over with no blood type of thing, you know? Which I mean, I guess is kind of, it was just like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of modernized like the Conan model, and even like, you know, going back, but it felt very dated in that front, which I think also added to the fact that this movie feels dated as hell. And honestly, I couldn't get into the characters because they're all really bad at acting. I thought the whole concept was really bizarre. It just didn't work for me at all on any level. But you know, I guess not at any level, because I was enthralled by the movie regardless, and I think there was some, even though I don't think it was anything to write home about the cinematography and editing, it was less obnoxious to look at than a lot of half stars, and it was competent enough in some ways that between cringes I was able to reasonably watch it. So it's not like some like we had 2 dogshit trash movies this year. Mercy and there was that one that got beat by Silent Hill, incomprehensible. Yeah. This movie is pretty straightforward. There's a lot of like continuity errors and stupid stuff that's really easy to nitpick, but by and large, like, it's pretty comprehensible what's going on, even if there's some nonsensical bullshit. It wasn't like a straightforward movie where I was like, what in the fuck is happening right now? It was competent. It just felt like dated and tired, and none of the actors were any good, and it was very green screeny. So it could have been better. It could have been worse. I'll put it on the upper middle side of bad. So Aiden, would you recommend Dracula?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's funny. I don't really know how to justify this one. I just liked it. I don't think it's particularly good. I guess maybe you probably shouldn't see it unless you have whatever mental disorder I have, but yeah, I liked it. Connor, would you recommend Dracula?
I'm gonna have to go hard no, and I'm gonna preface this by saying that, you know, you can support the the acquitted sex pervert director by going to this movie on the whim that maybe you have the same mental disorder as Aiden and will like it. Or you could just stay home and watch The Wrecking Crew starring Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista.